Hello, hi everyone. So this is Shrikant here. So this is a small demo I would like to give on SAP FI. So those of you who are interested in understanding some basics of what SAP FI is and the journey of SAP. So this is just a short introduction. So if you can see here, so first let's try to understand what kind of a software is SAP. So is SAP an application software, or is SAP a system software, or is it an open source software? So nowadays, like we are using different kinds of technologies, and so first we need to understand in which category it is SAP comes in. So you might be using Excel for your own daily purposes, or you might be using different apps like Uber. You have so many applications now like Swiggy, Zomato. So basically, when you consider SAP, so can SAP be classified as an application software? So is it like an Excel that you will use on a daily purpose? No, because SAP is an application that is used by businesses for a different purpose. So it cannot be classified as an application software. So would it be a system software then? So what is a system software? It is something that is used for your like an operating system software. So can SAP be classified like that? No. So is SAP an open source software? No. So what is this SAP? So under which category does SAP fall? So SAP falls under a different category of software called ERP applications. So before we delve into what is an ERP application, first let's try to understand what is the need for companies, or what is the requirement due to which this ERP software was introduced. So if you see, like, what was the reason why ERP was developed? It was developed due to increasing need of the businesses to streamline the different operations or the integrate data and for better decision making. So if you consider that you're having, let us say you're the owner of a small business. Okay, so you might have different departments like finance, HR, sales, procurement. So each of these departments, they are performing a separate function. Like purchasing is basically dealing with all the purchases that you do in your company. Sales is dealing with all the sales that you perform in your company, and finance is dealing with all the finances. So, what was happening is that all these different departments were acting in silos. When I say silos, that means they were operating in an individual way where there is no much communication or collaboration between the different departments. And even if there was collaboration, it was through paper communication, or it was taking a huge amount of time. So what was happening is that business was finding very difficult to integrate or collaborate these different kinds of departments into a single, what do you call it, information system which they can utilize. So for this purpose, in order to integrate these different silo departments and to have better streamlining of the information and processes across the departments, so that is where this new breed of technology is called ERP was developed. So when I say ERP, it is meant for enterprise resource planning. So that is a software used by big businesses like Amazon, Apple, all these big companies utilize this ERP products. Okay. So now, as we have an understanding of what ERP is, let's go to a basic introduction of what. So as you can see here, there are the different functions of the ERP system. Like you can see here, it integrates the different departments like purchase, sales, inventory, finance, CRM, HR, manufacturing, SCM, marketing. So what are these? These are all the different aspects that any huge business has. So no business which is operating in multiple countries, or which is a very huge business, it cannot survive with only one department. It has to have multiple departments for multiple activities. So the function of ERP is It is basically integrating all these different departments and enabling the information flow across these departments. So as you can see here on this slide, so when I say what are the uses of using ERP, it is basically integration. That means it brings together various departments and functions. And then another purpose is for having a centralized data. So what is a centralized data? So as I told before, when the departments are operating in silos or individually, the data is stored in different places or different it's not like in one central location. So when you implement an ERP, you have access to the information from all the departments in a single database. That is a centralized data. Then one more advantage is process automation. That means any business process, like whatever the daily tasks that are happening in your business, that can be automated. Then there is a real-time visibility. That means it will help the managers or the management of the enterprise or your business to understand or see like what is going on in my company on a day-to-day basis. That is a real-time visibility. It gives you insights whether how much sales I am making, how much purchases I am making, what is my profit for this month, or what is the loss that I'm incurring. Okay, all these different KPIs or statistics. That is the real-time visibility. Then what is improved efficiency? So by streamlining these processes, you are improving the real-time integration across the departments, right? And thereby you are improving the efficiency of your company overall. So these are the basic characteristics or basic advantages of using an ERP package. So currently, what are the ERP players in the market? You can see here, these are the different ERP players like Oracle, IFS, Acumatica, Epicor, Sage. So there are multiple ERP players in the market. So it is simple like this. So if you are trying to purchase a billing, so there are multiple vendors who will try to sell you the best product. Or if you are purchasing a TV, so you have multiple brands available, right? So, but if you see most people, they might go for a Sony television. Why they are adopting going for that? Because of the features that specific company or brand is providing to the consumers. Likewise, let us see why companies are going for SAP, even though there are so many ERP players in that market. So what is the purpose? So we need to understand why companies prefer SAP over other ERP players. So if you can see, these are some of the basic advantages, or I would say these are some of the key highlights of SAP that make it more preferred for the businesses compared to other ERP products. So what are these? First is a tight integration capability of SAP. That means all the modules. So SAP is a modular system. That means it is based on different modules or different departments. So all the tight integration or the information that is flowing across the departments. So if there is some purchase that is happening in your company, so that information is automatically posted to finance. Likewise, if there is some production activities happening, so any relevant information is passed to the other departments like procurement or sales. So there is a very tight integration in SAP, and then SAP follows the industry best practices. Okay, so that you are always on top of what the industry standards are. Then it provides industry specific solutions. So what is the industry specific solution? Like if you are in retail or oil, so SAP has a separate package or a separate software which caters to those specific businesses. Then it helps you to legal adherence. So it provides all the standard reports you can run, which are meant for legal compliance for any business. Then SAP is reliable compared to other ERP players, and it is more scalable and flexible. And also with the new SAP S/4HANA, so SAP introduced the new Fiori concept, which is now making the software more user-friendly and attractive for the users, resulting in high user satisfaction. Okay, so these are some of the points due to which companies prefer SAP. Now, let us try to understand what is the history of SAP or how SAP has evolved over the years. Okay. So SAP was initially started 5 IBM engineers who came out of the company and then started their own company called SAP. So SAP started way back in 1972. Then they introduced the first module called SAP R1, which was only supporting the financial application. So they started basically with one module. And then you can see here how they progressed to SAP R2 later in 79. Then they introduced the client server technology called SAP R3 in 1992. Then in 2004, they came up with the ECC version where they were supporting all the modules like FI, MM, SD, CRM, all these applications as one business suite. Then in 2011, they came up with a revolutionary concept of the database called SAP HANA, so which allows for faster reporting and faster processing of information. Then in 2015, they came up with the SAP S/4HANA Business Suite. And currently in 2021, SAP is moving to more towards the cloud adoption, where companies are preferring to move towards the cloud solution with the tech. And the methodology used by SAP for this is called Rise with SAP. So this is for your understanding to see how SAP has progressed over the years. So if you see what are some of the top companies implementing SAP, you can see most of the Fortune 500 companies in the world, they are utilizing SAP system. So you can see here Walmart, Amazon, then we have Chevron, Ford, all the major Fortune 500 companies. Then you have Burger King, Apple, eBay. All these companies are utilizing SAP for their different business requirements. So now you can understand and appreciate what is the capability or how SAP is much appreciated by the huge top companies in the world. So when I say all these top companies are implementing SAP, so there should be some reason, right? So let us say if you are going to watch a specific movie, you decide on watching a specific movie this weekend. Why you are going for that? Maybe you like the hero better, or you think that the screenplay or it has more action elements in it. So there are different features that make it attractive, right? So that's the reason you are going to the movie. But why are these companies implementing SAP? All the top Fortune 500 companies. These are some of the reasons because SAP gives integrated business processes. It supports all the streamlining of operations across the various departments like finance, sales, supply chain, etc. Then it provides real-time data and analytics. Then there is an improved efficiency and productivity for your company if you implement SAP. Then there is also data security and compliance provided by SAP. And most importantly, SAP is more scalable and flexible. Okay, that makes it more useful and that makes the company more efficient and adaptive to the different needs or to the different business needs. So now you can see here some of the customer testimonials. So these are all from the top chief procurement officers and CFOs or CIOs of different companies. So you can see how implementing SAP is helping them, and from these testimonials, you can clearly understand like how much value SAP is providing to all these big business organizations. Then, so now you might be wondering, okay, that is fine. Now I understand what is SAP. Now you can see like what kind of software is SAP, and you understood the history of SAP, and you understood like how companies are implementing this SAP. But now, if you are trying to set your foot in SAP, so you would like to understand like what is the role that I'll be playing as a SAP consultant. So if I'm working in a SAP project, correct? So broadly, if you classify the SAP projects, so these are the different types of projects that we could be working mostly. So one is the greenfield implementation. So what do I mean by greenfield implementation? So this means you are implementing an SAP software in an organization which does not have an existing SAP system. That is, you are starting from the scratch. So that is why it is called the greenfield. Okay? Because you are sowing seeds and you are trying to develop the greenfield. Okay, and it requires configuration data migration from legacy systems. The next important project that you could work mostly is a support project. Even it is called the AMS, of the application maintenance and support. So what is a AMS project? So after an SAP system is implemented, there is need to be an ongoing support. So let us assume like this. So if you think that implementation is like building a house, okay, so that is called the implementation project. Then after you move into your new house, there is always some maintenance needed, right? So if there is some failure in your hall, or there is some repair needed, or there is some electricity issue, or there is a plumbing issue or water issue, anything. So for everything, so there is some support needed. So what happens if you don't do the support? You will not be able to sustain, or you will not be able to live in your house. Likewise, for SAP projects, there is a support needed, because if you just implement and leave it, then you are not going to sustain, or you are going to run into problems. So this is the second major kind of a project. So where you will be working on resolving the user issues, or you will be performing the system maintenance activities like that. So what is the third kind of project? It is called a rollout project. So what is a rollout? Rollout means, let us say you are a company, like a very big company who is operating in different areas or different geographies all over the world. Okay. So let us say basically you're headquartered in US. Okay. And now you would like to expand the operations to Europe or Asia. So what you do, you start out in a rollout phase. That means initially you implement SAP in US in a specific location where you're headquartered, and then slowly you roll out to other locations where you are expanding your business or new business units or regions. Okay. And then you might also have to add the local requirements. Let us say if you're expanding to Asia, so the local requirements there for your business will be different from the one than in US or UK, right? So this is a rollout project. So the next major category of a project is upgradation. So what is upgradation? So now you can see here that currently S4HANA is the trend. And due to the many advantages businesses are seeing in S4HANA, so they are migrating or upgrading from the existing ECC version or whatever version they are using to the new S4HANA version. So these are called the upgrade projects or the conversion projects. That means you are moving from an older version of SAP to the new version of SAP, like S4HANA. So these are the different types of SAP projects that you will be working with. So next, let me show you a basic architecture of SAP. So when I say basic architecture, so SAP is based on a modular approach. So what is a module? So module is a independent kind of a, like if you say finance is one module, that means it's a separate department having its own functionality. Likewise, if you see here, sales is another module which has its own functionality like selling. Then you have materials management or procurement, where it has its own set of functionalities. For example, creating purchase orders, interacting with the vendors and getting the materials to the organization. Likewise, you have production planning. So where you plan the production of your materials that you are manufacturing or selling. Then you have quality management, plant maintenance, HR, human resources. So basically, SAP is split into different modules and it follows a modular approach. At the same time, it is also integrated across the modules. And SAP is basically written in ABAP. That is, ABAP is a fourth generation language, Advanced Business Application Programming, where all the programs are written by SAP, and it follows a client-server technology model. So this is basically the backbone or the architecture how SAP R3 was developed. So now, as this course or this demo is basically for FI/CO, so let us try to understand what is FI and CO. So what is FI? FI is anything stands for financial accounting. So that means it's helpful for managing all your financial transactions or vendors or customers, all the financial activity that is taking place in your company, right? And the purpose of FI is for legal reporting or for generating reports that you need to share with your shareholders or stakeholders. So basically it is for external reporting. So you record all the expenses or revenues, everything, and then you generate the reports or legal reports, or you generate your financial statements for your stakeholders or the like the management for the external parties for legal purpose. Then what is controlling? Controlling is something that is meant for internal purposes. That means it is meant for the management reporting within the company. It is not for external reporting. Okay. So let us say if you are a company, if you are owner of a company, so you would like to understand like what are the expenses happening within my company. It's only for your individual or your own purpose so that you can take a better decision. So you can understand where are my expenses happening, which costs are like more, or which department is incurring more costs, or you can understand like how can I make the product with less money, or which products are taking most of my time, or which products are consuming more materials, or which products are profitable or not profitable, which regions across the world are profitable for my business. So all these kinds of information are provided for controlling, that is for the management purpose. So broadly, SAP has classified it into two modules called finance and account. Sorry, control. So this is, if you see here, SAP FI CO is basically into two modules. One is the SAP FI on the left-hand side and the SAP CO on the right-hand side. So in SAP FI, you can see the different sub-modules like general ledger accounting, accounts payable, which module is meant for vendors, accounts receivable, it is for customer payments. Then you have asset accounting and bank accounting and special purpose ledger. And when it comes to controlling, you have cost element accounting, cost center accounting, profit center accounting, profitability accounting, and product cost. So these are the different sub-modules within the FI and CO modules. So coming to FI organization structure. So what do we mean by an organization structure? Let us say you have a company, you have a group company headquartered in UK, okay, and they have different branches in US, in India. They have one in Africa, one in Japan. So the company, as a group of company, it is headquartered in UK, but the different locations where the company operates are in different geographic regions, and that is why these are called the company codes. So in each specific area or specific region, you would set up different company codes in that system. And then you organize your business within like profit centers and segments. So profit center is nothing but you would like to understand where the business is making profits. So what you do is you distribute your geographical areas, or you distribute your business into different profit centers so that for your internal reporting purpose, you can understand where I'm getting more profit out of which department or out of which business line, whether if you have different departments like clothing, apparel, so you can understand which business is making more profitable. Okay. Likewise, the segment also is another criteria for you to understand the profitability or how your business is doing. So this is how the organization structure in SAP is mimicked from your actual business setup that you have in the real world. So how you operate in the real world that you are trying to mimic or set up in the SAP system, which is called the organization structure. So now if you see how data flows into SAP FI, right? So as you can see, FI is where all the financial postings are integrated. So your company might be doing sales, it might be doing purchases, or it might be doing creating production orders and all this. So ultimately what happens, all these activities result in postings in FI. So why do I say like that? Because let us say you are doing a sales. So what you do, once you create a sales order, there will be a delivery. Then you will post the goods issue to the customer, and then you have to finally get the revenue, or you need to get the payment from your customer, right? So ultimately, though the initial entry is in the sales system that is originating from the sales order, finally it is recording a revenue for you in your accounting system or financial accounting. Likewise, FI has integration with module, like from purchasing module. It has integration with other modules like PP, provision orders. So all these postings or all the activities that are taking in other departments, they result in postings in FI and CO. Okay, so that is how the data flows through the different departments into FI. So now coming to S4 HANA. So what is S4 HANA? So nowadays you can see that most businesses are moving towards S4 HANA. ECC now is something of the past now. Because why people are migrating to S4 HANA? Because S4 HANA provides a lot of new features, a lot of advantages to the business compared to the traditional ECC version. So it has introduced a new concept called the SAP FI UX, which provides you basically with a good user interface where the users can also launch the applications or complete the activities even using their mobile phones or different devices. Even on the move, let us say somebody wants to post a FI expense, they need not log into their laptop. They can use an app on your mobile and they can also use to that post. And then in the using SAP S4 HANA, you can connect to the Internet of Things, and it is also provides a lot of embedded analytics as well, S4 HANA. And basically the main advantage of using SAP S4 HANA is that it is based on the SAP HANA platform. So this HANA platform was introduced in 2011, which has revolutionized the business. So earlier, if a report in SAP was taking 1 hour to execute, now it could execute in a matter of few seconds or few minutes. That's how this SAP HANA platform, the database used by S4 HANA, has really impacted the business, or you can say it has been a game changer for SAP. And now SAP is providing S4 HANA in two versions. One is the on-premise edition, where you can have your local SAP S4 HANA installed and you can customize it as per your business requirements. Or SAP also provides the cloud edition, where most business these days are trying to move to the cloud edition because of the ease of using the software and the different pre-built functionalities that are being provided by SAP. So so as I mentioned before, so these are some of the points how SAP S4 HANA gives an edge to the business. One is the simplified in-memory database. Second is the ease of use. So it has introduced the new Fiori apps, which made it very easy to use this application. Then there is an increased performance. Then SAP S4 HANA provides you better analytics and also there is also a predictive analysis now in S4 HANA. So which will let you understand, so what will be my future revenue based on the past or based on the historical data. And it also provides native integration so that now you can easily integrate your S4 HANA system with third-party applications using the cloud native application or integration provided by SAP. So there are numerous advantages of using S4 HANA compared to the earlier versions. Now, this is a small organizational structure. So this is across the modules. So you can see here. So whenever you're building or working on SAP, so you will build based on a different organizational structure, master data, and transactions. So what is the organizational structure? Organizational structure is nothing but the foundation of your business. So if you are constructing a house, you need to first lay the foundation. Likewise, in SAP, when you create something, when you set up your company, you need to create the organizational structure. What I mean by that? So it means setting up your company code, setting up with your plans, setting up with your sales organization, your divisions, sales office. All these are part of the organizational structure. So what is master data in SAP? Master data is something like the GL accounts, vendors, customers, cost centers that you create in the system. So these are the master data is something why you call it as a master data, because this is a data that almost stays in the system, which you interact with your customers or like the GL accounts that you are posting on a day-to-day basis. All these things, they come under the master data. Then what does a business do once you have your organizational structure under master data? The end users. Who are the end users? End users are the people who use the software finally. So what they will do, they will do post transactions in the system or in your SAP software on a day-to-day basis using the different T codes or different processes that are already pre-built within SAP. So this is how the structure of SAP or how SAP works. Some further guidance on how to work on SAP FI, so I'll be glad to help you. So you can also have my details here. So this is my email and phone number. You can always WhatsApp me on this one. Thank you for listening to this short course. Thank you.